Hello beauties, welcome back to the Jolie Beauty channel, and today I'm here showing you this gorgeous makeup recreation from the TikTok influencer Addison Rae. And I saw this image and I was just like so obsessed. I think it looked so beautiful for summer, like the skin and a pop of colour. I know when I did my glowy routine, there were a few of you that asked me in the comments that wanted to see something a little bit more mattifying. I know my glowy skin routines don't work on every single skin type. Being a working makeup artist, I know how to work on different skin types. So for this one, I've used products that are gonna be a little bit more sustainable for you oily guys and gals. You can also adjust this look by using more glowy products. So whatever your preference, I hope you learned something from today's tutorial. And yeah, without further ado, let's hop on into it. So guys, just ignore the fact that the front of my hair is orange. I'm sorry, Brad Mondo. I had a little, well, I thought I'd just be able to put in a nice blonde streak for myself, but obviously didn't work out that way. I will fix it, I will. But yeah, at the minute, I just look like, well, it's a little bit Spice Girl-esque, isn't it? That's what we'll go with. So in today's look, I wanted to do a really summer glam. A lot of you requested on my Instagram feed, that's jolie.cash, that I do a summer look that's a little bit more matte and a little bit more like oil friendly. So I saw this look by Addison Rae. Am I saying that right? Addison Rae, and I thought it was just the perfect you know, matte look for summer. It's all about the skin and beautiful bronzer and blush placement. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So first of all, I'm going to groom the brows a little bit. Her brows are super fluffy and thick and bold. So I'm going to replicate that using my Pink Honey Brow Gel. So I just take a little bit of setting spray, wet that. Grabbing a spoolie and just load the spoolie up with the product. I wish there was a way of getting some soap brows without having to do all the wetting. It is a little bit inconvenient in your makeup bag, but the effect is really, really good and it does hold all day. So what I like to do is just run the product through, and then I run it back down into my hair as well, and I just find this gives it a little extra coat on the underneath of the hair, and that just helps it to stick a little bit better. I know some people were saying on my last video where I used this that they couldn't get it to work for them. I think the trick is make sure that you let it set a little bit. So it's gotta get a little bit dry, and you can see as it's drying, my brows are instantly starting to look a little bit thicker. And then I just go in with my finger and just smooth the brow hairs down into place and just create the shape I want. And because I'm maximising each and every brow hair, it's going to give me a much thicker and bolder brow. And as you can see from one side to the other there, even though this one's got the product in, it is really like the smoothing effect that gives it that beautiful shape. If you need to go back and just give them a little brush through again, if they start clumping together, then you can mould the product as and how you want to. If any of my hairs aren't behaving, another trick is that I'll just get the pencil or the whatever I'm using to put them into shape, and I'll just push the hairs kind of downwards so they all follow the same line, and that stops them getting too unruly, if that makes sense. To finish the brows, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. As you can see from the photo image, it is a beautiful, natural, bushy looking brow. So we don't want to make it look too perfect. I would never use like a pomade. The best product I think for this at the moment that I have been using is the Nyx Brow Tint Pen. These are really good for getting like individual hairs. And what you can just do is just add a few little hairs where you need them. I don't actually want this to look like one solid line because that would look a little bit like fake and unnatural. It's quite good to leave some gaps with a look like this. So I don't want a solid line here. It's supposed to look undone, natural. Baby, I was born this way. So yeah, don't feel like you have to make the perfect brow. Just fill in any little gaps that you have and work with what you got. So how's everybody been? It looks like in the UK everybody is looking forward to Freedom Day, which is kind of exciting, getting back to a little bit of normality for everyone. I have actually made it to Portugal now, finally, after 6 months of being away, and everything is good here. Loki is absolutely loving his beach life. I'll insert a clip of him on the beach on the first day he got back here. Nutcase. But yeah, settling in well, so that's all good news. So I'm going to move away from the eyes and the eyebrows and move on to the skin. Usually in the summertime, for me personally, I'd use a nice glowing oil or a skin prep, but this is for more oily skin. So what I'd normally use is just a standard moisturiser, and I'd let that sink in quite thoroughly before I did anything else on the skin. The foundation I'm going to be using today is the Charlotte Tilbury Airless Flawless. This stuff in the summer, if you are oily, is absolutely perfect. I would say the only place it kind of moves for me is a little bit around the nose, but that's easily touched up with a little bit of powder. I like to use this on brides as well when they want something a little bit more full coverage and something that isn't going to go anywhere throughout the day. I'm just taking that on an Ethereal Pro brush. This is actually in the shade 7, I think. Yes, so normally I'm a shade 5, but I have been in the sun a little bit. So I'm hoping this is going to match me. I didn't actually test it. I do know it oxidizes a wee bit, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. We'll make it work with our concealer and our bronzer and, you know, all the finishing stuff. So if it is a little bit too dark, then I can adjust it with all my other products. And you can see just how beautiful that is on the skin, but it's got no glow to it really at all. It's quite matte. You know what? It's a matte. It's a natural matte. It's a natural matte, so I wouldn't say. Oh, I don't know how to explain it. I say the closest thing that I've used to it, if you're familiar with like a lot of foundations, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but it's a little bit more satiny than that one. If you like the sound of that and you like Estee Lauder, the Double Wear, then you might like this one as well. Looking like an okay match, just need to take it a little bit onto my neck, which I would do anyway. Does anybody else get that kind of pale face, but then like complete, well, I'm not completely tanned. I don't put myself like completely in the sun, but I do seem to catch the sun on my body more because obviously I always wear like factor 50 on my face like religiously. I would never ever put my face to the sun. I try and match up my face with using like a gradual tanner, just to make it like less white versus like tan, but it just doesn't really grab as much as an actual, you know, suntan. So do have to go a bit darker with my foundation just to match my body, and it doesn't always match my face. The struggle is real, guys. The struggle is real. I do think this foundation is absolutely amazing, especially if you're oily, so that is my recommendation. So next up, I'm gonna just pretty much finish the base for the skin, do the eyes, and then come back to the skin, which is my normal process when I'm doing a more light look, like not creative look. Let's go in with a little bit of concealer. So of course for concealer today, I'm going to be using the Second Skin Concealer by Jolie Beauty. Looking at the photo, she's got quite a, you know, bright under eye, and that's what makes this look pop so much. So I'm going for quite a light shade. I'm going to use this in number 5. I'm going to really make sure I get the underneath of the eyes nice and bright. So this has got a peachy undertone, which is really good for like brightening the eyes. I do need to put a little bit here on that inner corner as well because I have darkness there, and I also have hyperpigmentation slash like sunspots around the corner of my eyes as well, so I like to put a lot there. Looking at the photo as well, this area of her face is quite bright, so I'm just going to add a little bit of this underneath the cheeks to brighten. I'm only going to be using a powder bronzer today, so I need to do this type of highlighting now before I put my powders down. And I'm going to just pop a little bit on the centre of the forehead as well. God, I've used this concealer to death. It's actually like running out. I have to actually order myself some more and my own brand, which is quite funny. Then just going in with a little blending brush or a sponge and just blending all that concealer in. I don't actually mind having, like, leaving the, you know, brown tones that are in my eyes, like on my eyelid, because I'm actually going to be using those tones to blend into when we get to contouring the eyes, which I'll talk about in a minute. So have you guys got any plans for Freedom Day so far? I think it's quite funny that they put it on a Monday. I just imagine how many people are going to call in sick to work. Not that I'm recommending that, but I feel like there might be a few. I feel like there might be a few raves going on and stuff. I'm not sure how many people are gonna stay in, but maybe it'll just be a massive anti-climax, to be honest, that everyone will be like, well, I've got work tomorrow, so stay in. Not sure. Here where I am in Portugal, they aren't as forward with the vaccination process, so at the weekends at the minute they have a curfew of 3:30 p.m. in some of the areas, so we are definitely not in the same situation here, but I'm hopeful soon with the vaccines just keep coming in and stuff, that it will be not too long until we get some of our freedoms back. But obviously it's so important that everybody is safe first, and that is the priority. That is all lovely and blended, and I'm just going to powder that down. I'm going to use a little bit more powder than I normally would. To be honest, with this foundation, with this concealer, I could skip powder right away, but I do want to show you how I would layer the powders for an oilier skin type. So I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airless Flawless. I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. That's right, Jolie. You can talk. Well done. And I'm just going to dust this mainly underneath my eyes. I know for me that's one of the first places that I would crease, definitely in the summer. And just adding like a little bit of powder here is going to help us blend into when we're doing the eye contour and shaping the face. I also think my chin definitely is a place where makeup just slides off, and my nose as well. Oh, I've got an intruder coming in, bear with me.
Okay.
What are you guys doing here?
Nothing.
Intruders, alert!
No, we weren't doing anything.
I just said I had some intruders.
No.
Taking over, Jolie Beauty takeover.
You ready for Jolie Beauty?
Can you stop eating my chocolate? Do you mind? Right, will you two go away, please? So the face is powdered, it's looking really smooth, really velvety, exactly what we want when we're a little bit oily. And I'm just going to go in next with our bronzer. So the bronzer that I'm using today is the Jolie Beauty Second Skin bronzer in the shade Latte. This is our lightest shade, but it's really beautifully buildable. So it's very good no matter what light skin tone you have. You can have it as a super light wash of colour, or you can have it more as a medium if you build up the shade. I'm just taking this on an angled brush, and I like to use an angled brush because I have a lot more control about where the product's going, especially on the cheeks. You want to make sure that you're going, you know, above your cheekbone really. So I always make sure that I'm above my cheekbone, I'm working upwards and pushing the colour back towards my ear. I don't want to bring anything lower than that because that's going to make my face look a little bit pulled down. So just making sure I'm pushing the shade backwards. I can see from the photo that Addison doesn't have much like contour on. I would say it's just a light dust of bronzer that's like building her features up. I am going to use this as well in the eye socket, but I wanted to just show you it on the skin first. So now I'm taking the same bronzer again. I told you this look super simple, super quick, and I'm gonna dust that into my crease. And what is very noticeable on this makeup look is that they also bring that shade right into the nose there, and they join it to basically the side of the nose. And this is just going to make your eyes like look a lot deeper, bring more attention to them. So if you look at the one side now, and where I've created that shadow down, and then the other side where there's none of that, you can really see the difference. When I saw this look, it just took me back so much, because I never really used to wear eyeshadow when I was younger. I know that sounds really funny, because like one of our like products that we've developed the most is like eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, like when I was like a teenager, before I got like kind of creative with makeup and makeup artistry, I used to use like a lot of like my bronzers as shadows, and it really reminds me of this. And I think it's just underrated really. Like sometimes if you just want like a natural looking eye for summer, then you can totally multi-use your products. And you know, if you're packing for a holiday as well, it just means you've just got less to kind of take with you. So I'm all for it. And see how that just gives a lovely bit of definition to the eyelid. I want to add a touch more, but I'm going to use a little bit more of a cooler shade. So I'm taking my Perfectly Sculpted Contour palette. This one is very well loved, as you can see. And I'm just taking a smaller, fluffier brush, and I'm concentrating this a little bit lower down into my crease. And all these powders are eye safe, so they're absolutely fine to use around your eyes as well. And that's just going to give a tiny little bit more depth, just giving you your crease back a little bit. Now I'm going to take this dark brown shade just on a little liner brush. And although it doesn't look like she's got any eyeliner really on, I think there's just some little something. And I'm just pushing that into the lash line slightly, just to define the eyes a little bit more. And I want this to look a little bit like smoky. I don't want it to be too much. As you can see, it's just a tiny bit of definition. Almost like you can't really tell it's there. It could just be like where your natural lashes are. I think it's so pretty, and it really opens and defines the eyes. It's quite easy to get carried away on the eyes. Saul? Yeah? I can hear the squeaking. Loki, no squeaking. Sorry, Loki's outside with his squeaky toy. I think it's really loud to me. I'm really sorry if you can hear it. Like a little duck. Just to add a tiny little bit more definition to the eye, I'm just gonna pop a little bit of a pen liner just on the very outer corner. This is in a dark brown, and this is a new product, so this will be available on Jolie Beauty very soon. It is the best liquid eyeliner I've ever tried, so I'm excited about you guys trying this one. It's gonna be in two shades, in black and brown. So this is the brown shade, which I like for this kind of look. It is on the website now if you want to sign up for notifications, so basically we'll send you an email when it comes into stock. And I'm just making sure that blends with the powder that we've put down as well, just so it doesn't look too harsh. Dusting any little bits away. Now for the underneath of the eyes, I'm gonna smoke out my underneath of my eyes using this colour here. I feel like looking at the photo, she's got a little bit of a almost like under eye contour. So it's like barely visible, but it really makes her eyes pop out. You need quite a small brush because you want to keep it quite tight to your lid here. You don't want to bring it down too low. And then taking that liner brush again, just on the outer corner, I'm just going to push that darkest brown shade just on the outer third. I don't want anything, you know, anything that looks a little bit too much like liner. It's got to look like really like my eyes are just naturally defined. And that's the beauty of this look. It's just so beautiful, just natural. Just so I don't lose any brightness under the eye, I'm going to take the lightest shade on a powder brush. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of that right underneath the eye. And then blend it into my bronzer. That's going to help me maintain that kind of bright-eyed look. Make sure you haven't got too much on your brush. You just want that to be a tiny little bit. Just make sure you don't lose any of the lightness there. And you can do the same underneath your cheek area as well, just where we laid that concealer down. Her lashes look absolutely amazing and they look quite on the natural side. So I'm gonna curl mine, give them a really good curl, and then just go in with my mascara and see what they're looking like. If I feel like I need to add any individuals, I'll do that. But we'll see how close we can get with just the mascara. I think curling your lashes in the summer is just an absolute must. It means you can get away with a lot less makeup and it gives you that kind of like wide-eyed, you know, healthy look. So I didn't realise how important it was until I started doing it, and now I just can't live without it. Especially with my new Ridiculous serum, because that makes them look a lot longer too. I'm just going in with the Essence Lash Princess Mascara, and what I'm trying to get actually today is quite a spiky effect. So if you look at the photo, she's concentrating the mascara in 3 different areas, really. She's got a lot on her ends, and then she's got another kind of cluster here, and then a little cluster on the inner corner. So I'm trying to replicate that with my mascara. Good technique to get that kind of look is to point the wand downwards and pull the lashes up where you want them to be the longest. And I'm just gonna pop a little bit on the bottom lashes as well. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the way those lashes are looking. I think it's time to move on to some blush. So the blush I'm going to use today is the perfect shade for this. When I saw the photo, I was just like, I need to use this blush. This is the shade First Date, and it's quite a bright corally colour. It's perfect for summer. It's a powder blush, and the placement that they've used on the photo is like very different to where I'd wear it. It's like on the cheeks here, slightly across the nose. So I'm going to emulate that. This is quite dark for me. It might not look it on the camera, but it's more for maybe more medium skin tones. So what I can do is, to get the shade, just tap a little bit onto my, oh, that's not my blush brush, wrong one. Tap a little bit onto my blush brush and just tap a little bit off, and I'm gonna work this colour just onto the inner of my cheek, which is not where I'd normally wear it at all. But if Addison's doing it, well, so am I. She's also got quite a bit across her nose, and I'm just making sure to like tap this on. And as you can see, because of the formula of this blusher, it's quite buildable, so you can really use a light hand with it. I feel like on this side I got a little bit too much pigment, so to correct that I can just go in to a neutral powder. I'm using the Sculptor palette again, and I can just go a little bit over it just to blend it in. So just do it by eye. I know some of you will be much more comfortable with wearing a lot of blush, so you know, make sure you feel like good when you look in the mirror. That's the main thing. Just love building that up until you're totally happy. I feel like this vibe is just so, I just got caught in the sun, and now I'm going back to my villa and I'm gonna have some sangria and get into a nice dress, and I'm ready for the sun. I just love it. And that placement is very youthful, very pretty. Another thing you might want to do is add some faux freckles. So I'm just going to go in with that brow pen, because this hasn't got that much pigment in it. And I'm just going to add a couple just on my nose area mainly. Again, this just kind of adds to that kind of summer look. Make sure you tap it in with your finger. This will help stop the dots looking too like uniform. Obviously if you have dots just dotted on and they're all equally spaced in the same colour, that doesn't look like freckles. So you want to make sure you do the tapping, and that will give you a much more natural look. Just before I go on to the lips, I'm just going to set my face. I'm not going to add any highlighter on today. I think the look is very matte from what I can see from the photo, so I would just leave the skin pretty much like that, and then it's just my lips. So for lips today, I was a little bit confused looking at the picture. I was a bit like, is it like a red with a filter on and it looks a little bit less red? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's really, really hard to tell from a couple of photos. Obviously there can be editing done, etc, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go exactly how it looks in the photo to me, and that is red, but a very light summery orangey red. That's how I describe it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a standard red lip liner, but like not a dark one. This one's called Sedona Red. It's by Jordana Cosmetics, and it's just a red lip liner. But as you'll see now, it's quite orangey. It's like not too, you know, it's not like a vampire red. It's just it's a summer red, I would say. God, me describing things recently, it's not good, is it? And I think she's overdrawn the lips a little bit, but I don't think that suits me, so I'm just gonna go with my natural lip line. And I'm just gonna fill that in a little bit too, just blotting it together, because I'm only gonna use a slight balm, coloured balm over this. So that's just gonna form like the base of it. Ooh, I just snapped that. Oh no, what did I do? Well, that's bye-bye pencil. Damn. No, that's gone. That's a pain, isn't it? Rest in peace, lip liner. Oh no, I fixed it. Oh no, yes, I fixed it. And then I'm going to top that off with just a little bit of coloured balm. This one is by e.l.f. and it's actually called Orange Crush. It has got a little bit of orangey red in it. Swatch it there. So it's quite sheer, as you can see, but when I layer this on top of that, you know, red that we just made, it makes pretty much the exact colour that Addison has got on her lips. So, and I think it's so nice because it's quite a comfortable wear. You can imagine wearing this definitely in the sun on the evening, and it's just gonna feel really nice and hydrating. So that's the final look today, guys. I'm absolutely obsessed with this. I think I'm just gonna be wearing it basically all summer long. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I think it's so nice just to be able to throw a few key pieces of makeup into your bag and just have them there ready to go, and you can just come up with such a beautiful look. If you like this video, then make sure to give the video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. Also guys, I really want to hear your opinions on what you want to see from the channel. Do you want some fashion? Do you want some vlog style? I am really enjoying doing such a mixture of content at the moment. I hope you're enjoying the way the channel's going as well. So yeah, let me know down below. I love chatting to you all, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah!